Let me tell you about a $6 million home in Coconut Grove that disappeared. Not sold, not foreclosed, just gone. One day it was listed on the market, gleaming with marble countertops and ocean views. The next day the listing vanished into thin air. The owner, fed up with months of lowball offers and tire kickers, simply pulled the plug. "I'm going to spruce it up and come back in October," he told his agent. That single delisting might seem insignificant, but it's part of a staggering trend that's rewriting Miami's real estate story. In August 2025, Miami leads the entire nation in a metric that should terrify anyone who cares about the city's future. For every 100 homes listed for sale, 59 are being pulled off the market within months. Let me say that again. Nearly 6 out of every 10 listings are being yanked by frustrated sellers who can't find buyers willing to pay their asking price. This isn't just a number buried in some analyst report. This is the canary in the coal mine, the flashing red warning light at Miami's real estate market, and by extension, the soul of our city is fundamentally broken. In this video, I want to talk to you about what these delistings really mean and why they're driving an exodus from the Magic City that threatens everything we claim to love about this place. While real estate cheerleaders point to fancy ribbon cuttings and celebrity home purchases, the smart money is watching delistings. And what they're seeing should keep every Miami resident awake at night. Miami now has the highest ratio of delistings to new listings in the US, 59 for every 100, up from 27 for every 100 just in May. The national average, just 21 delistings per 100 new listings. What does this mean in plain English? It means sellers are so frustrated with the current market that they're giving up rather than accepting reality. Miami home prices have dropped 4.7% since 2024 and 17.8% since 2022. Yet sellers remain psychologically anchored to pandemic-era peak prices, choosing to pull the properties off the market rather than face the music. But here's the kicker. Miami ranked highest for average days of property spent on the market at 88 days, yet less than 80% of listed homes in Miami came with the price reduction in July. Translation? Properties are just sitting like dead fish, but sellers refuse to budge on price. So they delist and wait for a market miracle that isn't coming. Now here's the cruel mathematics of Miami living. To afford the average rent of $2,200, you need to make about $87,000 per year. But the median household income in Miami is only $45,000. That means the average Miami resident would need to spend nearly 60% of their income just on rent, double what financial experts recommend, and that's why Miami remains the 6th most expensive rental market in the US. The result? A housing market frozen in denial while real people suffer real consequences. This delisting epidemic isn't happening in a vacuum. It's creating cascading effects that are hollowing out Miami's character. When properties sit on the market for 88 days before being delisted rather than sold, entire neighborhoods enter a state of limbo. Meanwhile, the people who make Miami function, the teachers, the nurses, firefighters, restaurant workers, are being systematically squeezed out. Now, before we talk about who's leaving, let's address the elephant in the room. Is Miami real estate actually a good investment right now? The answer depends entirely on who you ask and what their agenda is. The bulls will tell you Miami is bulletproof. They point to luxury condos, Coconut Grove and Coral Gables, maintaining only 12 months of inventory, while other markets struggle. They'll mention that luxury condo prices per square foot surpassed $1,000 in Q1 of 2025, a psychological milestone that supposedly proves continued demand. They love to cite the city's international appeal, with Bloomberg ranking Miami in the world's top 5 cities where the super rich have homes. But the bears tell a different story. They see a market where new apartment deliveries are outpacing lease demand. They point to developers facing slower lease-ups, more concessions, and challenges from elevated interest rates. Most tellingly, they see a market where inventory has ballooned to 22 months overall. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Both sides are dancing around. Miami might be a great investment if you're already wealthy enough to weather years of market volatility. If you can afford to delist your $6 million property and wait for better times, it's because you can absorb months of carrying cost while your luxury condo sits empty. If you're playing with house money from previous real estate gains, then yes, Miami might work for you. But if you're a working family trying to build wealth through home ownership, if you're a young professional hoping to get a foothold in the market, if you're anyone who actually needs housing rather than just wanting another asset class, then Miami's investment picture looks very different. Here's what the investment optimists don't want to admit. Their hold and wait strategy is accelerating the very exodus they claim doesn't exist. When properties are priced for international investors and delisted rather than sold to local buyers, you don't preserve value, you drive away the people who create it. The delisting crisis demands more than wishful thinking, and it requires us to honestly confront what kind of an investment market we actually want. The current system works brilliantly for those who can afford to play the long game, but it's systematically destroying the community foundation that makes Miami worth investing in at all. When essential workers can't afford to live where they work, when young professionals flee for more affordable cities, when cultural institutions close because their operations are priced out, we're not building a sustainable investment environment. We're creating a beautiful bubble that will eventually burst when there's no one left to staff the restaurants, schools, and hospitals that make the city functional. The delisting epidemic isn't a sign of market strength, it's a sign of market dysfunction. When sellers would rather remove properties from the market rather than price them for the people who actually live and work here, they're not preserving value. They're destroying the community fabric that makes Miami worth investing in at all. Yes, Miami real estate might deliver excellent returns for those wealthy enough to buy, hold, and wait out market cycles, but investments that require excluding the majority of local workers aren't sustainable. The choice is yours, but the window is closing fast. Every month of delisting denial is another month of teachers moving to Jacksonville, nurses commuting from Homestead, and families packing their boxes for Tampa. The Magic City's greatest trick might be making its own workforce disappear. We can either face market reality and build a sustainable housing ecosystem, or we can keep delisting our way towards a beautiful, soulless city that only the wealthy can afford to visit, let alone call home. Let this deep dive into the delisting crisis open your eyes to what's really happening in Miami's housing market. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one.